All right, everybody, Gabe Jenkins back with you. I hope you didn't tear your hair out trying to figure out how to do AutoCAD drawing number 24. It can be frustrating, and it takes a little bit of figuring it out. To give you a quick, preview, quick sneak peek preview of what I did here. These are the construction lines I ended up drawing. And we're going to talk through why they're important and how to do it right now. So I'm going to start off with I'm looking at the numbers here. I'm going to start off with an inches template because, you know, because there's nothing over like radius of 1.67. So biggest thing on here is going to be 3.5 inches tall, 3.5 inches wide. All right. Let's start by making all of our kind of circles that we talked about in the overview. So the very smallest one has a radius. Let me go on to my visible layer here. Very smallest one has a diameter of 0.25, I think. Yep, 0.25. And I'm going to zoom in a little bit, but not too much because it stays small. Next one has a radius of 0.5. Next one out has a radius of 1. Next one out is the inside part, like the inside edge of each gear, right? Of each tooth is 1.29. So I'm going to make that one 1.29. The outside of each gear has a maximum outside diameter of 1.67. And I'm going to do my construction circle right here, which is 1.52. So I'm going to do that on a different layer. 1.52. Okay, so that's going to be there. All right, now I told you that the big trick here is going to be figuring out how to construct each and every one of these individual teeth, right? Once you get one right, you can just polar array it around and then start to do the last little layer of fillets and a couple of other things to do at the end with the keyhole. But let's look at one tooth. We know that each tooth traces out 9 degrees of arc. And I know they give you the dimensions for this one, but it's the same for this one, same for this one, right? So each one is 9 degrees of arc. That means that if I go ahead and make a line that goes out beyond where my last circle is, like the outer diameter here, and make it at 4.5 degrees up from horizontal. Actually, you know what? Let's just do this so it's even easier. So it's easier to see maybe. Okay? So make a straight horizontal construction line, right? I know that I'm going to make a tooth that's going to be right here. Okay? And so I know that it's got to be we'll just make it 2.5 long. Tab over to this one. I'm going to say 4.5 degrees up from the horizontal. So that's 4.5. And I also want to make another one that goes 4.5 down from the horizontal. Okay? So I'm going to say, let's just make it 2.5 again. And we're going to say down 4.5. Okay? So my tooth has to fall somewhere in here. Okay? If I zoom in even more, it's got to fall somewhere. It's going to be in that little thing right there, right? Well, the next thing I know is that I know that each tooth, this thing's getting in my way. Each tooth has kind of a top to bottom here of 0.09. Okay, well, one easy way to figure out how something that is along this arc and has a top to bottom distance of 4.9 is, well, what if or 0.09, what if I made an offset line that went up half of that, 0.045, and then another one that went down 0.045? Well, let's do that, okay? Let's go over here, and we're going to say, am I still on the right layer? Yep. So I'm going to offset, and I'm going to say 0.045 because that's half of this height right here, okay? And I'm going to offset this up, and I'm going to offset it down. So by doing that, I now know that if I zoom in here, from here to here is 0.045, and from here to here is 0.045. So together, when you add those together, it's going to be 0.09, which is exactly how high this is supposed to be. Okay? It's exactly that height right there. Now the next thing to figure out is how do I make each one of these arcs? Well, that's a little tricky, right? That's a little tricky. It tells you that each one of these arcs has a radius of 0.4. And when you look at this center point, because there's only one center point out there, so that's got to be the center point of an arc, because that's what each center point tells you on a technical drawing. You see a little like crosshairs like that? It tells you that there's an arc or a circle that is the center point of. And so if we look at it, right, from here to here has an arc of 0.4. So in this case, we know that we are trying to make an arc. We know the starting point, we know the end point, and we know the radius, 0.4. So if I click on that, the start point is going to be right like at the top edge here. The end point is going to be right there, and the arc is going to be 0.4. So it says specify your start point, your end point, and your radius you enter in is 0.4. This layer here. Did this to me before. Gave me a little bit of a tricky time. 0.4. There we go. Okay. Now I've made one side of this. I can do it same thing over here, or I can use the mirror tool to make sure it's perfectly symmetrical, right? So I click that, hit mirror, and my mirror is going to be from here to here. Why won't it do it for me? Do it again. Oh, I know why I'm saying. It's because I'm dumb. It's because I'm dumb. All right. I do make the same mistakes again and again and again, and it is very frustrating. Sometimes I don't learn as quickly as I want to. Okay. All right. There we go. So if I zoom out a little bit, I'm not going to zoom out too far, you're going to see that I'm starting to, I've made this each, I made that tooth. If I trim away the parts I don't want right now, let me get rid of that. I don't need any of this stuff anymore, right? Yep, it's all gone over there. I don't need this part, don't need that part, that one, or that one. And I think that is good for a tooth. Okay, so now I want to take these three elements, this side arc, this end piece, and this side arc right there. Do anything? No, okay. I'm going to take those three pieces and I'm going to polar array them around. I know we need to do it, there's 18 of them, right? So if I go polar array, select my objects I want to do it with, and it's that, enter, asks me where my center point is. We know from our work with polar arrays how to do these pretty well now. And I don't want 6 of them, I counted them earlier, and it's 18 of them. Zoom out. There we go. So I got 18 of them. It's starting to look pretty darn good. All right. Done. Now I'm going to trim away the parts I don't want anymore, which is going to be all of these little things right here. Click, click, click. Come back to that one because I'm going to zoom in on that one. Okay, let me zoom in over here. Zoom out. Okay, so we're looking pretty good here. I think I trimmed away everything I need to trim away. Now I'm going to do each corner here is not sharp like that. It's all got a little filleted corner, so it's nice and smooth on the inside. It's got a radius of 0.06. So I go to fill to 0.06. I'm going to hit multiple because I'm going to be doing a gazillion of them here, and this is just a little tedious, but you got to do it. Oh, before I even get there, I just realized it still thinks of this polar array as one big thing, and it's not going to let me fill it, all of it like that. So I'm going to go here and I'm going to type in explode. It's now going to treat all of these like separate little elements. Okay, so I'm going to go back here. R of 0.06, that's still right. I'm going to go multiple. Zip through this carefully, but as fast as you want to. I'm going to come back. We'll just do it right now. come back to that one. All right. Something was weird with the line there. It's important that you develop the habit of just looking carefully as you're doing things. Sometimes you've created an element twice and you forgot about it, and even if it's like up there, I noticed that I did a filleted corner, but it didn't. There's still one extra little random line sitting around there, which you definitely don't want that. If you have extra lines, people get confused. Why is there a line there? And then, in real manufacturing, if you're trying to produce something and somebody doesn't understand it, there's the real chance that they make something incorrectly, and then they've wasted money and resources and time and raw materials, and you got to go back and make a new one, and then people get mad because you've wasted stuff and wasted their day and all that stuff. Okay, so now I noticed there was something weird in here. Okay, so I'm going to trim away that last little bit of a line right there. Maybe that's what it is. There was an extra arc there. All right, so maybe it did work for me the first time and it just looked like it didn't. Okay, so we are super close to done. I got the whole outside done, and now I just need to make that little keyhole right there. I realize that it goes from, it's basically right about here, right? And I know that it is 0.12 wide and 0.06 tall. Well, let's do this. I'm going to go ahead and make a construction line that is going to go straight up from my center point up to this top point right here. Okay, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to make an offset line that's going to go half the distance over and then half the distance over the other way, right? So I'm going to do offset line, and I'm going to go half of 0.12 is 0.06. So I'm going to make it go over here and then over here. And then, cool, we're almost done. All right. The last thing I need to know is that it goes up 0.6 from the point where it connects, right? So I'm going to go back to my layers, make this part visible, and we're about to be done. All right, so I zoom in as much as I need to, go from here. I'm going to go up 0.06, and my angle is going to be straight up, not straight over. Go do this again, my bad. It's going to go 0.06, and my angle is going to be 90. It's going to be straight up. Okay, then I'm going to go straight over and down until it connects. And then I'm just going to trim away the parts I don't need, which is this and that. Zoom out a little bit, and I think we are done. I'm going to take one more second to look at it, see what it looks like maybe without the construction lines in there. Sometimes those make it a little hard to see stuff. And I'm just going to do a quick comparison. If you want to just do some dimensions just to see if it looks right for you as well, good idea. And I think we're done. If you found a mistake that I made, please let me know and I'll redo it and maybe give you some extra credit. I think it's right, but it's, everybody makes mistakes sometimes. All right, this is my way of doing it. Again, you might have a better way of doing it, and I'm open to any way you want to do it as long as it ends up right. All right, everybody, have a great day.